150 plus 150 G's. That's 700. How many do you have, Max?
Okay, 200 plus,
Yeah. You need a calculator? Nerd?
You know, 5/3 of all Americans are bad at fractions. 3/2 can't do long division. And 30 out of every 26 people had to take an extra math class in school. These are funny math jokes, right? Well, stop laughing. Only 33% of 8th graders in 2015 were proficient in math. That number was down from the 36% in 2013, and as of 2019, it was down to 30. Less than 50% of students are proficient in mathematics, and we sit here making fun of them and making fun of math instead of sitting down and fixing the problem. When I was in 7th grade, I had to take 3 math classes at once just to meet the New Jersey state standard because me and the other students struggling with math were costing our school its precious state ranking. Instead of being allowed to take art or theater classes with my friends, I had to take pre-algebra, algebra tutoring, and a class called Extracurricular Math Emporium, which was a fancy way of saying more math because you're dumb. I was miserable, and it gave me a hatred of school that persists to this day. And I know I'm not the only one who was miserable, because all 3 of these classes were full of the same 20 students. It was the same 20 of us doing math every day for 3 hours in a row, understanding none of it, and then going home to do more math with private tutors. And it was only with the tutors that we finally understood some of the lessons the school had failed to teach us in 3 hours. USN says, math is a language which builds on itself, and not understanding the foundations of math is like not understanding the structure of a language. This makes it very difficult for a student who struggled in math through middle school to suddenly reverse course and excel in high school. This is why it's so essential that we address our students' issues with math in middle school before their self-esteem is so damaged that they decide they're just not good at math and stop paying attention. That's exactly what I did. I figured, if I still don't get it after 4 to 5 hours of math a day, then I must be the problem. I just suck at math. I resigned myself to sucking at math and stopped paying attention, and now I can barely do long division or calculate my Bakugan score. Middle school instilled such a hatred of math in me that now I have to take a math class for college, and I'm angry about it. I'm mentally and physically angry that math has to come back into my life. In high school, while all of you were taking calc and pre-calc and AP whatevers, the 20 of us from my 3 middle school classes were taking intermediate algebra, pre-algebra, and finally Algebra 1. Then my guidance counselor said, take another math class. Colleges love to see more math classes. I told her I'm never taking a math class again until I have to, and walked out of her office. Guess what? I still got into college, and I haven't taken a math class in 4 years. But that isn't right. No person should have to be so physically repulsed by a school subject that they develop a lifelong vendetta against it. The problem is not the students or even the teachers. It's the way that the American school system is structured around standardized tests. Teachers have to rush and throw new material at students every single day to keep up with the national standards, rather than teaching a subject, practicing the subject, and then letting the subject sink in before moving on to the next one. But there are countless better ways to teach. New York Times says, instead of having students memorize and then practice endless lists of equations, students should be encouraged to have passionate discussions among the children so they come to uncover math's procedures, properties, and proofs for themselves. One day, for example, young students were told to derive the formula for finding the area of a rectangle. The next day, they would use what they learned to do the same for parallelograms. Taught this new way, math itself seemed transformed. It was not dull misery, but challenging, stimulating, and even fun. Children are suffering and being made to feel incompetent and stupid. They're blamed for the shortcomings of the system, that they are being denied the opportunity to take classes which interest them because of the limitations being placed on them by math. We did not fail math. Math failed us. And the only way to change things so that future students don't have to deal with the feelings of being inadequate is to rally the teachers and parents and even the students to demand that standardized testing be made no longer the basis of education. Otherwise, our math scores will continue to get lower and lower until everyone becomes so fed up with failing math that they decide it isn't even worth teaching.